Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is your review for Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. And I did not think that I'd be coming on here talking about the game like this, in this manner, in this way. Because myself included, I think we all expected to get absolutely whacked left, right and centre. We didn't at all. At all. Before the game, you would have argued that if you had taken the option of a 1-1, you would have taken it, right? If you had the option of a 1-1, you would have taken it immediately. Now that we have the 1-1, we actually look at the game itself and what went down. We should have won. We should have won, man. We should have won. We should have flipping won. And you know what? I'll take a 1-1 for the context and for what it's worth, because it is Man City at the Etihad. And it's one of those results that you just, with where Chelsea are, you just have to take. Considering how we played today, Chelsea played really well. With minute details that cost us where we could have really nailed the game. Which I'll explain in a sec, and why we're finishing this game 1-1. But overall, we played really well, and we played in a way that I personally want to see Chelsea play more often. I don't feel like we do it enough. I feel like today was a prime example of Chelsea going back to its roots. Today we saw the DNA in store. We saw, you could argue, proper Chelsea. Not much of the ball, but the little times we had it, there's a counter that's been launched, there's a space that's been exploited, there's a chance that's been had, but defensively, compact, pragmatic, organised, solid, deep, shut everything off, proper Chelsea. That's the sort of performance that we used to relate to on a weekly, right? And it's one of those games where you get the result away from home against a top team, and you play that way and you're proud of it. That was reminiscent of it. It reminded me of that, and that's where I say I want us to actually play like that a lot more. Obviously not against everybody, but it's nice to know that we actually have the capabilities to defend well. We don't defend well enough. We leave ourselves exposed, we leave spaces, there's avenues in behind. Like, we do all these ridiculous things. Whereas today, defensively, Disassi, mate. Even Levi Colwill next to him, decent. Gusto, stuck in. Chilwell, stuck in. Enzo Caicedo, stuck in. They were a nuisance. Gallagher, nuisance. Everyone was just completely frustrating Manchester City. Man City could not find a way in. The amount of opportunities they had coming at us, in terms of taking the ball and facing us head on. And they've done nothing with it. They've had chances, but you could argue a load of those were blocked shots or shots that were taken from a little bit of a distance because it went over the bar, there was no way to get in. Or crosses into the box, header, and it's gone wide or it's gone up. But the amount of headers they had, because all they were doing was spamming the ball into the box, it was just crossing and crossing because they couldn't find a way in. Gallagher had his eyes on Rodri. I saw the halftime analysis from Bean, and it was very good analysis, and it was true. Gallagher was constantly on Rodri. Do not allow Man City to build up the play through Rodri. They constantly had to go wide. Constantly. And they made it work to an extent with Doku, with Kyle Walker on the right-hand side overlapping Foden, and Foden sometimes. But even then, most times they would resort to just cross the ball into the box. And then constantly, Disassi's there going, yeah, get it out. Boot the ball up the pitch, get rid. Constant blocking, defending, solid, beautiful. Overall, that was fantastic. So, we argue that the setup of Pochettino, the way that we actually deployed the team, was correct. Bang on the money. We were organised, we were disciplined, we were compact, the lines were short, we were moving as a block. We weren't allowing City through. We were constantly winning the ball off them. We were constantly hitting them on the break. So the setup and the way we went, the approach to this game, bang on the money. I've not said that properly for Pochettino this season. Today's been the one time, apart from the Aston Villa game, but against a top team like City, today's been the one time where I can say, tactically, it was on the money. But players' chances let us down. Sterling, with the chance to lob Ederson, and he doesn't. He just goes head on into him and tries to he wants to nutmeg him or do something. It hits Ederson's right in front of him, and the chance is averted. He had all the time one-on-one, saw Ederson way off a line, a million miles off his line, lob him. The ball's bouncing as well. The ball's not on the ground. The ball's on the ground. I'm like, okay, well, now you got to think. Are you going to place it or are you going to go around the keeper? One of them. The ball's bouncing. Lob him. He doesn't. Later on, or before, Jackson. And the chance of Jackson, that was the first chance actually, Jackson, where the ball comes across into space. Jackson and Ederson, one-on-one. Ball comes across, hit it. Or if you're going to take a touch, measure your touch and know what you're going to do immediately after on the second touch. The second touch needs to be a shot. No hesitation. You know where it's going. He doesn't. Takes the first touch. It's a little heavy. Tries to run onto it. Ederson's already figured this out. And he comes and he grabs the ball. Threat averted. Ridiculous. So that's 2 that we could have had at that point. 2-0 could have been done. Then we get the goal. Raheem Sterling. This is where everyone actually compensated for their mistakes to an extent. Jackson with a beautiful back heel into Cole Palmer, runs into space in behind. Cole Palmer feeds the 1-2. The 2 ends up into Jackson's path. Jackson then crosses the ball low across the field. Low driven pass into Raheem Sterling. Sterling sends Kyle Walker off the pitch. Thank you very much. Slots it into the bottom corner and it's 1-0 Chelsea. At this point, Sterling wasn't having a good game whatsoever. Constantly losing the ball, constantly getting frustrated. You could just see, he was getting on my nerves. And then he pulls that out of the bag. And I'm like, okay, fair play. That was actually perfect. So, brilliant. Now we're 1-0 up. We're in a situation that we didn't expect to be in. We go into the break and everything is lush. Everything's lovely jubbly, right? Start of the second half and we start thinking, how are we going to approach this? What's the best way to approach it? And I said it on the watch along at half time, just keep doing what we're doing. Keep doing what we're doing. Do not disrupt what we are doing so far. The substitutions don't need to be made yet either. Wait until Pep makes the change and then we react to it, right? That's how I thought would be the best way to go about it. We did have, basically the same time, Alvarez came off for Bernardo Silva. And that's where Poch decided to take off Raheem Sterling for Nkunku. Some would argue this shouldn't have happened. But for me, I understand the logic to an extent because I argued Nkunku should have started. I was fuming when I saw Sterling in the starting 11. And I'm like, hang on, Nkunku on the bench? We get the goal, we're 1-0 up. Cool. Yeah, at half time, change the thought process. Keep Sterling on. But it gets to a point where we've got to bring Nkunku on. Cool, because now what we can do is put Jackson on the left, where I think he will be more threatening, better suited. And we done that. Still, very good balance. Everything's there. That I would have kept. Keep doing what we're doing. Stay solid. Stay, defensive relatively, but with the eye to catch Man City out on the break because now they're chasing a goal. They're trying to come at us because they need to score. You have even more opportunity to catch them in behind, which we actually did when you look at the opportunities in order to feed players that found some space on either side. So when you're looking at that, I thought it was all being beautifully managed by Pochettino up until that point. And then minute 71, he takes off Cole Palmer. He brings on Trev. This is where it begins to get a little, okay, we've taken one attacker off. We're bringing on Trev, who's a defender, and we've not seen him in a while, but very happy to see him because I thought we'd never see him play again. So I'm glad to see Chalobah. But you could argue there's still enough firepower on the pitch to do something. You still have Nkunku, you still have Jackson, you still have Gallagher, and you still have your fullbacks. Minute 81, he then decides to take off Jackson and bring on Casaday. No need. Because between the second sub and the third sub, Man City had already started piling the pressure on us. But we were so very well organised that they were still not finding a way through. So even on the watch along, I'm saying, look, you know what? I don't think they'll score. Keep it like this. They won't score. There's no reason to try and adjust anything now. There's no reason. I don't think they're going to score. They didn't look like they had any sort of way in. But there was also the anticipation that we still had enough attackers on the pitch in order to hit the counter. Man City need to be careful of that. We bring off Jackson. We bring Cassidy into the midfield. What's that going to do? Send a message to Man City that, look, we've now only got Nkunku as the qualified attacker on the pitch, maybe with Gallagher, but that's it. And we're bringing Cassidy on, so that's an extra midfielder, so we're going to park the bus now. So here's the ball. We're not going to need it anymore for the next 10 minutes plus stoppage time. You give that much time to Man City, you're just opening the chances for them to score even more. Lo and behold, immediately after that sub, Rodri gets the goal, ironically enough. Rodri on the edge of the box. Who was there to try and block it? Cassidy. Did he? No. Hits Chalobah and goes in. And it's 1-1. And now we don't have the same firepower to try and actually go and get the second goal, which you could argue we could have got earlier on. So at that point, we're just holding on for dear life. And you could say holding on for dear life because towards the end, I honestly thought we were going to give away a penalty. But that wasn't given. So in that circumstance, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a 1-1 and screw it. It was a good performance, a very good performance. It was a very organised and disciplined performance today. But you could argue, up until minute 81, we had the tactics and the system that was on the money, and the players, some of them like Sterling and Jackson, that didn't bury their chances in the first half, where we honestly could have found ourselves 3 or 4-0 up. 3-0 up by the end of the first half, 4-0 into the second half, if you could argue that we should have got a goal then as well. But we do end up with the goal. It's only 1-0. Up until minute 81, it was a case of Poch doing everything perfectly and the players, some of them, fluffing chances. Despite overall still playing really well. After minute 81, Poch basically just threw it away. The same mistake we saw against Arsenal, where we bottled the lead, is the same mistake that was made today, and we bottled the lead. Now, you could argue, like I said, it's Manchester City, so we're going to take the draw. Yes. But like I said, before the game, if you had said we'll take a 1-1, 100%. After we've seen the game and we've seen how we actually could have, and you could argue should have won, 1-1 feels a little empty. I feel like it should have been more. I honestly feel like we should have won. And if we did win today, it would have been huge. Beat Manchester City at the Etihad. Mate. Statement. So, I have to stress, Poch done everything beautifully up until the last 10 minutes, and then it's like he sabotaged it. Everything that he done beautifully was undone with that one sub that wasn't necessary, because Chelsea still had enough defensive prowess there and enough attacking firepower on the pitch in order to balance the two out correctly and keep City on their toes. We just basically opened the door and said, come on in now, start flooding us with chances. We're just going to try and, defend. Anyway, it's frustrating, like I said, because we played really well. And yeah, we only take a 1-1 when it should have been more. But in hindsight, it's a 1-1 at the Etihad against Manchester City. And now, you know what? In terms of the table, this leaves us in 10th. We could have been 8th if we'd won today. That's, again, another one where it's like, flipping hell, man. This is a league. You're going to get punished if you don't take these sort of opportunities. So, it's annoying. At the end of the day, I never thought I'd be on here saying that it's annoying after getting a 1-1 draw against City. But this is Chelsea. This is Chelsea. And I argue, why don't we play in this sort of fashion more? Like I said, defensively, I thought we were class. Up until, obviously, conceding the goal. But, again, the whole system had changed. So, overall, I give my praises to Poch up until the 81st minute. Because I thought he had it nailed on. And then he changed it. Disassi, I thought, was absolute class. Jackson, I thought, had a really good game. Sterling started off poor, compensated, got the goal. Happy days. Cole Palmer, beautiful. I see the way that he nutmegged Alvarez and sent him back to Argentina, mate. Honestly, what a flipping nutmeg that was. Beautiful. Well, overall, great contribution. The fullbacks, Chilwell and Gusto, I thought were class. The rest of the defence, I thought were beautiful. Enzo and Caicedo, beautifully balanced. Moving the ball with confidence, but they were both getting stuck in properly. They were constantly winning the ball. Same goes for Gallagher. Gallagher was winning the ball every single opportunity that came, like a horse, which is exactly... I said in the preview that they needed to be completely together and in it together, getting stuck in. And they did. So fair play to those players as well. Everyone actually played really well, but we let it go. So, anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. We get a 1-1 head-to-head. Not the worst result in the world, that's for sure. But it could have been more. It could have been more. Anyway, we have drawn this game 1-1. Now we've got the cup final to look forward to on Sunday. FA Cup after that against Leeds, and then we return to the league on the 2nd of March where we play Brentford away and then Newcastle and then Arsenal. So it gets heated then. But let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded, and I will catch all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. In a bit. Take care and peace.